Alright, so in Marketplace, found this Predator. You guys asked me $800 for it. It's looks like it's in really good condition. It's the 50th anniversary edition. I really like the looks of that. This one looks pretty clean though. For whatever reason, most Predators you find are just not taken care of. It's going to be a 5-hour round trip, but hopefully it'll be worth it. The engine is locked up. I'm hoping it's nothing too serious. I'm hoping it's just the top end. Hopefully the crank isn't locked up. We'll see. So I'm gonna go check it out and yeah, let's see what happens. Alright guys, after a 5-hour round trip, we made it back to the compound. So we'll get this thing unloaded, get her in the garage, start tearing into her, see what we can find, get parts ordered. It should be ripping here soon. So what we're looking at is a 04.5 Polaris Predator 500, and it's the 50th anniversary edition. Now the reason I say this is the 04.5 is because Polaris changed the rear end in the middle of 2004. If you get the first half of 2004 and under, that is their first rendition, which is basically the rear plastics are different. Now the new ones, they made them less droopy, and then they actually put longer swing arm on all the models above 04.5. So this is the updated swing arm. So it's this is the first year that they did this style. The other style is less curvy. I don't know how much shorter it is, but it's a tad shorter. Wyatt's Predator was the first 04.5 Predator. Now I think the battery's dead, so we're gonna put a charger on it. It's got the Fox podiums, which these are pretty decent. Rear shock's pretty decent. It's got a lot of squish into it. I think this quad was pretty well taken care of as far as the seat and the fenders. I mean, nothing's really cracked. It has the graphics are starting to peel, probably from the sun. They're starting to get some fiberglass cracking in that, which is a little unfortunate. I think that's just what you're gonna get with these type of plastics. That might be just clear coat, to be honest. So there's a little bit of cracking in it. Not bad though. The plastics aren't broken whatsoever. Normally the front plastics are always trashed. These tabs are always broken on these Predator plastics right here. Now if you get like a Meyer, if you get Meyer plastics, they actually fix that issue. They reinforce that part. But yeah, these are all in good shape. Coolant is a little bit low in that reservoir. Now the oil, I didn't see any oil on the dipstick when I was looking at it, so I'm hoping they didn't run it completely out of oil. Now there is oil. Okay, never mind. There is a little bit of oil in this thing. Thank goodness. So it is very low, but there is some oil, so I don't think they ran it completely out of oil, but whew, she's low. I had the guy kind of explain to me how it broke when he was riding. Unfortunately, the poor guy, he kind of got screwed over on this deal. He paid like $2,200 for it and rode it for like 5 hours, and it wasn't running right when he first got it. The guy that sold it to him said it had old gas in it and it should clear up. So he kept riding it, and all of a sudden it was kind of chugging, and all of a sudden he heard a whizzing, and it completely locked up on him. So the engine, I haven't tried yet, but he says the engine don't turn over, so we're gonna charge the battery. I'm assuming the piston's blown. I'm hoping nothing else is broken. So it looks like the case has been split in half before. There's quite a bit of oil residue on the bottom, so I don't know exactly what that is. Yeah, I'm gonna inspect it a little bit closer. I'm hoping that the cases aren't cracked or anything. But yeah, we gotta start tearing into it. Otherwise, everything else looks in pretty decent shape, to be honest. Normally, I don't even know why, but people just, it always seems like most people neglect these Predators. I don't get it, especially the gray ones. They're always in they're always in piles of crap, I swear. All right, so after kind of inspecting it, I'm not seeing any cracks in the case, but I'm noticing that the intake oil line doesn't look like it's sealed very well. So I'm assuming that was a very slow leak. So I'm hoping that this thing just didn't dry up on oil. Just trying to inspect things. I think we need bearings all around. Now the steering is actually not bad. So the ball joints in the steering is pretty good. I'm probably just gonna put all new bearings all around. Just I don't know when the last time it's been done. Someone put the petcock on backwards, so that's cool. So we'll probably get bearings. I don't know about this frame. The silver paint on these Predators peels off bad. That's just what silver paint just does that on everything. So I don't know what we're gonna do about the frame yet, if we're gonna do anything. We'll get to that point once we get to the engine, so I can decide what I want to do with this thing. Now I'm probably just gonna fix this up, ride it for a while, and we'll probably move on with it and get some more projects. But the end of the season's starting to come up, so I don't know how hard or easy this will be to sell. Now, I do got the baffle for this. I don't know what type of exhaust this is. I've seen this before. It's not a Yoshimura, but I'm not 100% sure what kind this is. But I'm sure it sounds good. I love oval exhaust, so I think it's gonna sound really good. I know I had the Big Gun Evo R exhaust on it. It was an oval, sounded really good. Seat's in really good shape. Little tear right there. And I did look at the airbox. The airbox seemed okay. Yeah, I think overall it's in good shape. We just need to get it running again. And someone put different bars on it. I'm not sure what kind of bars these are. And that's missing that $10 plastic nut, of course. So, all right, let's get her in the shop and start digging into it. So I got the front plastics off and the seat and stuff. I think there's a lot of this. There's a lot in this car that is still original. I'm pretty sure this is the original air filter, and it looks not bad, to be honest. And then the airbox is actually decently clean. Now there was a little bit of oil residue in this airbox. Predators are known to blow oil into the airbox, so I just pulled the carburetor off, and the pilot jet just kind of fell off. So I don't think this was doing much. Yeah, I'm seeing kind of flakes of metal in the carburetor. That's kind of weird. So I'm gonna inspect the valves here real quick. But the camshafts, I got that off. Camshafts look fine, so that's a good sign. Oof. Houston, we made contact with the valve. Looks like an exhaust valve. Woo! The head is What happened? Did it jump time? I don't know if you guys can see this very well, but the exhaust valves kissed the piston, so I'm guessing the timing chain jumped, or the timing was off the whole time. He said it was running like crap. I think timing was off. Please don't be bad cylinder. It's not looking good, guys. She's tight. The crank looks good, so that's a good sign. New theory is it overheated, but it has coolant. It's hard to say. I still think it was time. And if you have something on time, it can make your engine run hot because it's not firing properly. I'm guessing the cylinder shot, just the way it came off. She scored up pretty good. Really not terrible. Yep. Cylinder is bad. She done. Piston scored. Seized right up. She's done. So I'm probably gonna buy a used cylinder, I'm guessing, and then probably have a machine shop put a new cylinder in this guy and probably just sell it or something, or keep it on hand, because these bad boys are very hard to come by right now. I can get used cylinders on eBay around the $200 to $300 range. I'll shop around. I'm probably gonna buy used, and then you can get a brand new one OEM for around $700 on Rocky Mountain. Really doesn't need too much. I'm gonna estimate We'll see what the head is, but I'm gonna estimate around $700 to get this going. Well, look who it is.
You got a real quad.
Oh, it's only my third Predator.
Oh, yeah, the third. This is nice.
It's not bad. The plastic is broken right here. Right here. But the plastic welded it as best it could, but it's not too bad. Otherwise, yeah, it's actually in pretty good shape.
What's up, Fireball?
Howdy.
Might have to reinforce this a little bit better. Really, didn't do much.
Mm-hmm.
Those plastics are pretty.
Yeah, they're not bad. I already got it tore apart. But
What year is this?
04 and a half.
I believe that.
But the piston kissed the valve. Alright, so I got the engine parts finally. So this is the new head. It's a used head. It's in pretty good condition. They cleaned it up pretty good. I was looking at the intake valve. One of them looks like it's maybe not seating as properly. So hopefully it's not going to be an issue. Might have to do some cleaning on that. But the other valves look pretty good on this side. I'm going to check the valve clearance, obviously, before we finish putting this together. Except I forgot my shim kit at my parents' house, so hopefully we won't need that today, but hopefully it'll run. Now between these two heads, maybe I might have enough shims to make this work if it needs adjusted. One good thing I like to see about this is it hasn't been taken apart much. Usually when you get these quads, like all these hoses and tabs are zip tied or not even zip tied. Like this is the original tab right here. All these hoses are original, which good or bad, they don't seem dry rotted. So like hardly anything has been touched. For some reason, the spark plug that's in there, it's gonna be hard. You guys can't see. The hex bolt is like too big. It's supposed to be a 5/8. This one, it has a big one in there. I don't know how they got it in there because none of my sockets will fit. I think it's a 13/16. I don't have a socket that's thin enough to go down in there, so I might need a 1/4 inch socket, which I don't have one that goes that big. But we're gonna run it with a spark plug for now until I can get that one out. So that's pretty dumb. I was able to bypass the solenoid here, and it does crank over. So I'm gonna attempt to start this. I just got everything kind of tied on. Headers are bolted. The pipe is just snug on there right now. I did do a spark plug test with the key on, and when I bypass the solenoid, I do have spark. So we must not be getting power to this switch for some reason. So we'll dig in that later. But valves are a touch tight, so she might start not super great. We'll see. I think I just need to do it right. I got gasoline on my burn. I think I'm just gonna shim it properly. It's if you got a lot of air coming back through the carburetor, it's usually an intake problem, so it's too tight. So hey, there's a dragonfly in here. It's a big boy. Spark plug and intake valves, and she should fire up. And hopefully the jetting's correct on this carburetor. I need to look up the stock jets. So I just got back, got the shim kit. So we'll get this intake valve shimmed. Hopefully they're not shot, because they got pretty small shims in there to begin with. So I don't know if we can go much lower. If they are shot, I might, just to get by. I believe that this head has pretty low hours on it. And the intake valves on this seem to be in pretty, don't seem to be damaged. So I might clean them up and then throw them in there if I have to. Let's try to shim this, and then I also was going through our old junk drawer in the toolbox. I did find this bad girl. Probably went to one of our quads back in the days, but it has a 11/16 side on it and a 5/8 side. I need 11/16. The only problem with this is that it's pretty short. We'll see if it goes down to begin with. I might just shove a 1/2-inch drive down in there, and then we'll put the actual correct spark plug in it. When I was inspecting this head, when I got it, I could tell that one of the valves was seated in farther than the rest. So this valve is now shimmed properly. This one is still very tight. I still can't get my smallest feeler gauge to go through there. My system did work. It's actually kind of, there it goes. I was a little sketched out at first. This still didn't want to fit down in there very well. I just spun it as it went down, and it did fit, and it's we got it unscrewed. So let's pull it out. Let's see what we're working with here. It's definitely wet, so I think we're running a little rich, which I expected that. Yeah, I don't know what kind of spark plug this is. I don't even think the spark plug was used. It's like, there's like no carbon on it. Well, we'll get the right one in there. Alright guys, so I'm doing something that I should have done to begin with. I took a chance, didn't really work out, but we are going to replace the piston and rings. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for the new piston and rings to come in, I'm going to just get the bearings and stuff out of the way. So that's what we're going to do. I also have a starter solenoid in. I traced it back to, it's just not working. I'm assuming that when the engine locked up, maybe it was, they tried forcing it to roll over, maybe burnt out the solenoid. I don't know. So we got a new solenoid coming in, a new piston ring. I went with Namira. They're kind of like the cheaper end when it comes to pistons and stuff like that. I've had pretty good luck with them. Long term, I couldn't tell you how good they are long term. Swing arm is done. I still gotta do the brakes on it, but I'm gonna call it a night. We'll probably get the brakes done tomorrow, and we'll do the wheel bearings on that. Those won't take that long. I like to use all balls bearings. They tend to be pretty good for the most part. Haven't had really any issues with them. The Namira piston came in, so you guys have already seen me tear this apart. So just like this, and just like that, she's back together. So one thing that I made sure that was correct. Now, for some reason, I don't know, I've done many Predators in the past. I've never had any issues with timing them, but I think I was off by one tooth. I don't know if the newer Predators are a tad different when the timing procedure or not. I'll have to kind of look into that. But I used the 03 service manual, so I don't think the piston was actually the issue. Now I did double check my my ring gaps, and they were in spec. So, but we're throwing in we're throwing in a fresh piston, so she's gonna be in her prime. I rechecked the valve clearance, everything's golden, so it should fire up. So I might have figured some things out. I'm assuming that they put a dyno jet kit on this quad. I don't know how the heck they got this thing running, if this is the issue. Anyways, stock is supposed to be 165 main and then a 45 pilot jet. This has a 180 main jet and a 42.5 Pilot. So I'm going to need to relook at the Dynojet kit because they have a bunch of different jets for different altitudes. I think this is running way too rich. Alright, so I just took the spark plug out, and it's going to be hard for you guys to see. She is wet, so yeah, we're running way too rich. So I even tried starting this wide open throttle, wasn't doing it. So I guess this is the next thing. This is the next step. So I'm gonna head over to my parents' house. The Scrub Big Red are working on the Warriors over there, and we do have more jets for the Predators over there. So I'm gonna attempt to load this up in my truck somehow, and I'm gonna take it over there and hang out with the guys and get this going, and do the bearings there as well. So we should be able to get this done tonight. I think we can. So this engine is kicking my butt. So I ended up taking it over to my parents. Got some of those, got the jets from Brock. I put those stock jets in, and I did lean it out. It almost started up, but it didn't start up like it was supposed to. If your engine is tuned right, it should start right up. So I was like, screw it. I threw a compression test on it because that's where the kit was. So I got that kit now until my new one comes in. So I did a compression test on it, and this quad actually has a decompression exhaust camshaft in it. So basically, when you're at cranking speed, so the engine can start better, it actually, I believe the exhaust ports open up sooner. It essentially starts at a lower compression. At starting crank speed, it's supposed to be at roughly 90 psi, and we were only getting 50. So we have fresh piston and ring in it. They're all in spec. So the valves are not seating right. Now when I got this head, when I inspected it, 3 of the valves on this were really clean looking, and then one was like really grubby. And that grubby one, that grubby one that was full of carbon is the one that I changed. It's kind of the issue with buying used parts. These valves obviously came with the head, but I think someone for some reason swapped out 3 valves on this with, I don't know, used valves or what. The valve clearance is in spec, but I don't think the valves are seating properly, so I think we're losing compression through the valves. Even when I redid the one, we're getting some weird back pressure out of the carburetor, so I think we were losing compression through the intake valves. I'm probably through the exhaust valves too, but so we're gonna go through and take the valves out and relap them. I guess go from there. So that's the last. This is the last thing. For some reason this don't work, then we have a problem somewhere. We're losing compression, and I might have to buy a leak down kit and see where we're losing our compression at. So I just relapped the valves. I am installing the head right now. So I'm trying to get the piston back to top dead center, and I actually forgot to take the spark plug out. And as I was cranking it over, I have like no resistance at all, so it's not building compression still. Either these valves are bad for some reason, which I don't know why they would be. They're in spec, they're lapped, so maybe there's something wrong with the cylinder, which it was perfectly in spec, so I don't know. Somewhere I'm leaking compression and I don't know where. Alright, so I just bought a leak down test on eBay for like 30 bucks, so this should be here in 3 or 4 days. It's Labor Day weekend, so I'm sure the mail's gonna move really slow. I need one anyways. It's just good to have. I've never had one. I've never really had an issue to need one, so I guess this is the first issue that we're going to use it on. I guess I could have gone to Harbor Freight. They have one there for like 60 bucks on sale right now, but I'm cheap. I'm just gonna wait. Alright guys, this video is starting to get long. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait until we get some more tools and stuff so we can see what's wrong with this thing. So in the next video, we will have this running. I think the intake valves aren't seating right. I'm actually going to, in the next video, I'm going to relap the valves again. We're gonna mark the valves and see if we have a small leak somewhere on the head, and then we'll finish up with the rest of the quad and get her going. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.